Brian. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to ACES53 with Ed Parcaut and myself. How you doing, Ed?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good. One of those days. I kind of forgot what day it was. So
It's Tuesday. That's
it
why we're late
is.
today.
I know.
I have an incoming president in 2 years. So I have another 45 days of my term, and then Mike Kelly, who does the radio show with me, he's the incoming president. Well, she is the one after him, and she was like,
Gotcha.
"What do I need to do?" I'm like, "There's not much to do right
Everything.
now." Yeah. And she's like, "How'd you come up with your theme?" And all, each president. I go, "Everybody has a different thing." My theme was, let's make Rotary great again together.
Right.
Right. And a lot of people, "Oh, that's a Trump." No, it's not. It's Rotary this year was all about being great again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't about, you can make it, but I added the together so that they could,
They could see it.
It was unifying.
I'm with you.
All right. What's going on? So that's why I apologize for being late.
Oh no, you're good. I thought today we'd start off with like standing out from a crowd, because that's one of the hardest things to do right now. And that's what I get asked the most consistently is, it seems like you're everywhere. It only looks that way because of consistency in posting and a few techniques I thought we'd talk about. So,
but you are everywhere a lot more
true.
than you used to be. So
I am.
You do a lot more speaking.
I am. But I also started attending more events like so Thursday and Friday of last week, I went, Janine Driver was in town, the body language expert. So for anybody who doesn't know her, I always highly recommend her book. Get her there, get to where people can see it. And she was in town. And so I went and attended her events. And that's something I've talked about before is it's not always about you being on stage or you being the speaker or anything like that. Who can you go and support at the same time? And not only do you get to spend time with people you like, but you're in the right rooms with the right people, you name it. And then yesterday,
you get opportunities from that also.
That's very true, because you get to meet the people. The secret, Steve told us a long time ago, is the bad news about being a speaker is the minute you're done, you're unemployed. And that's true. Now, if there's other people that if you did a good job, they're going to ask you, do you know someone else? Or if someone is there to support you, that's true. So I did get an opportunity with the event that Janine was at the other day. Sorry, my glasses are fogging up. Janine talked about, hey, you guys need to meet Brian. He lives local. The company she's speaking to was local. And I stayed for another 10 or 15 minutes and decoded facial features while she went and got her suitcase. And so it was an opportunity that I never would have found, that I didn't know Janine was going to do that. I literally went to go hang out with her because I enjoy hanging out with her so much. But that's the right thing to do, is, spend time in the rooms. Another opportunity popped up yesterday, and that is Amberly Lago lives here in Dallas, and she was recording a podcast with some of the people in her mastermind who I've gotten to know over time. And they said, hey, we're going to do lunch later. Do you want to join? I said, well, can I sit in on the podcast? They said, absolutely. So we got to go and sit in the audience and support them and learn more about them. It was interesting because the intent was to go and support, but the three speakers she lined up, I got something out of it. And then let's talk about the side benefit was what happens when you all get together. People take pictures. And so I could have sat at home and been working on the business or watching YouTube or whatever. My intent was to go and support, but then we end up in pictures together. So that, again, gets my face or name out there. That was an unintended side effect, but it's a positive one.
Right. Yeah. And you also, when you take these pictures, make sure you don't have anything that says when it was.
Exactly. Yes. Take off your lanyards. Always, always, always ditch the lanyards, because that is something that far too many people do, is they wear the lanyard from the event and then they try and repost the picture later. And people are like, that's from 2 years ago.
Or even further back.
Yeah. Well, that's when, like, if you show a picture of me with hair and with nose a long time ago.
Yeah. That was when you were 14.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then what I thought would also be fun is what you taught me that has helped out quite a bit. And that is haters are helpers.
That's right.
Posted something on YouTube on Saturday, and immediately 3 just troll comments came up, and I didn't never really get notified on YouTube. Hey, somebody put a comment up. So I started responding. Instead of 400 people watching that video, 8,700 people suddenly watched that video. And so it just goes to what you've been preaching. And if you've been listening, listen to Ed. It works. That is, haters are helpers. Respond, engage. Absolutely.
Yeah. They're going to do more for you than people who love you. period.
Yes.
I think I need to do a course on that.
Well, here's what you should tell the course, right? Haters are helpers and love is like. So all the people who love you, all they do is I liked it. I liked it. That doesn't help you. It's
Right.
the
But
people
I think people are afraid that, they're going to get, come after me. They don't know where you live.
yeah.
And these are like, I had a guy that worked for me, and this might come off wrong, but he has text balls, meaning he can't say it to your face, but when he walks away from you, they can say it on a text.
Yeah.
And that's what these people have. They just want to make themselves feel relevant at the time.
I did have a guy threaten me. I'm going to show up and beat you up. I'm like, well, how am I going to know it's you? It's a troll account. I don't even know what you look like.
Send me a picture, please.
Exactly. So I take that back. He did post a picture, but he was telling me, I'm a scientist and I work all these places. And
Good for you.
Yeah. I think my favorite hater one was, well, I work for Elon Musk. I'm like, okay, do you sell cars? That doesn't really say a lot just because you work for somebody, for a corporation. Now, if you say I work with Elon Musk, I might pay more attention, but yes.
Well, that's, it's again, it's always not what you know, it's who you know. But if you want more engagement, engage everybody, especially, the problem is people will go and like a comment or make a little comment like, oh, thank you. So, but they won't engage as much as with haters, and you have
yes, right. They're searching for significance because it's always, well, I'm going to stereotype 90% of the time, it's somebody who has no posts, 12 friends, whatever it is, who always has the witty comment. And the ones that drive me nuts are, if you're going to be ballsy enough you want to type this out, make it that I can tag you back in the reply. You can keep your little account private. But if you can't even get tagged back, I think you're the ultimate wimp who's, I'm the big bully who's don't be mean to me. So,
well, again, it's just do your stuff. Focus on the people you're trying to focus on. Right. And if somebody makes a comment, don't have a problem commenting back.
Exactly.
You don't have to inflame them, but don't, you could, but it depends on how much you want to go.
Yeah.
You just go, how come it's always get these things from these accounts that have no name and no followers, and I can't reply back.
Yeah. It drives me nuts.
But those are the best. Brian, what does it drive you nuts for?
No,
I just got 8,900 from 400. Yeah. What do you exactly? You should be going, I love these guys.
I know I do. I just wish that you could tag him back.
You said I really bought. No, you should be loving these guys.
Yes, this is true. I need to hug my haters.
And what you should tell them is, thank you so much for helping me on my account. I appreciate you so much. You're going to piss them off even more.
Yep. Funny enough, one of the guys went in there and I said, have you not figured it out yet? The whole reason I'm responding to you is because this keeps algorithm alive. Thank you for your support. But it's funny. I mean, I was even at another event. They said, oh, just delete the negative comments. No, keep them. Keep them going.
That? Did you say that? Did you say that?
Yes. Oh,
did you tell them who told you to do that?
No, but I'm giving you credit now.
Damn, that's just wrong. You should be going, all right. So on our podcast, we do ACES53. My co-host told me to engage the haters because that's what he did on one of his posts, and it went viral on TikTok. And so I tried it, and then this is what happened.
Did you see how long that took to say? I just want to ease around.
No, but then it gives you the credibility of why you have the proof. You can say my normal post on Instagram would get this, and I went to 2.9 million. Plus, I went from 20,000 followers to 120,000 followers.
Yeah,
in a couple months.
It's true. I mean, just with what we're talking about, look at consistently. Even there are groups that they call whippet groups. And whippet groups are, we all get together and we agree, hey, when I do a post, I'm going to send a note to the group so you can all engage, not with a like, but with a comment as soon as it goes. And what does that do? It tells the algorithm people are instantly watching when Ed posts something. So you can create your own whippet groups or whatever you want to call it, that you all say, hey, I just put up a post, and within 5 minutes, somebody goes and puts something, and it's a way to work around the algorithm. So
I thought it was Devo when you said that.
Oh, whip it good. Now, I haven't researched this yet, but at the event yesterday was a marketing and branding person who said that Instagram is about to start charging or sorry, she shared a post from someone who said Instagram is about to start charging for business pages and creator pages and things. So I need to dive into that and see for next week.
It'll be the downfall.
Agreed. Agree
People
wholeheartedly.
will just go to a different place. They'll just
Well,
go back to X. They'll go back to something else and just leave Instagram.
Yeah. Well, and that's the question is that we were talking about is I showed her creator land and she wasn't aware of that one yet, but she's heavily, so she'd moved here from LA to Texas and she's heavy into LinkedIn now. So we'll have to bring her on one day to talk about
No,
how
LinkedIn is where you should be heavy. It's a business. It's all about business.
Right.
You don't get unfortunately, you don't get the trolls over there.
That is true. But you get to the decision maker. So it's one of those of, yes, there's not a lot of people to push your post, but you're right. It's getting to the right people versus having to stop the scroll. I mean, yes, there's scrolling there, but not as much.
Right. Every social media is different, but that's always been for business. So if you're trying to get anything done on business, that's where you go.
Yes. Agreed. I hid from it for so long because I couldn't do LinkedIn as an employee.
Move on.
And that's why I got started on Instagram, TikTok. What's
move
that?
On. I said, move on.
I'm just
move on. Get out of that. You haven't been an employee for over a year.
No, you didn't let me finish. So I thought I shouldn't do it as an employee. And what I realized is that's stupid. You should always be building your brand no matter what you do. Because look at realtors, people who work in car dealerships. There's a guy named Ty the Car Guy. And it doesn't matter what dealership he's at. It's not Ty at Mitsubishi. It's Ty the Car Guy. And he started posting across all social media. And I wasn't smart enough to do that back then. I should have thought, be branding yourself no matter what, because then it goes with you no matter where you go. And so we have friends, that are realtors who it's not about what company they're realtors for. It's about them. How do they show houses? What do they do differently? And now they can job hop and their quote unquote fame goes with them. Right.
Yeah. But the difference with them is they don't get paid to job hop. They might get a little bit more commission, but that's not the same. So a lot of people are confused on that. Mortgage industry is the same way. You are always supposed to advertise yourself. Even if you own the company, you advertise yourself because you might want to move on to something else down the road, and you still want to take you with you, because if it's all about the business is gone and you're gone. And that you should have been on there with your resume and everything else for years.
Exactly. Well, we've talked about before, Bradley. Nobody knows what company he's at, but everybody knows who Bradley is, because his company.
Saying not everybody. So I would say 30% of the people know what company he's at.
I'd say even of his Instagram following, maybe even lower, but yes, LinkedIn for sure. But most people, if you ask them what's light speed, they're like, huh? But they know about Brad and his podcast, Dropping Bombs.
That's the speed of light.
Yeah. So.
Well, that is Dropping Bombs podcast is a company. I don't care what. So that's the thing about people. Should I start a podcast? Yes, it is a way to also to get you out there, and in other people's sandboxes and other places. You should definitely 100%. Start a podcast, and you definitely should.
Yes, I saw an interview the other day with Larry, Red Hat Larry. And he was talking about the same thing again. And we'll have to have him back on because I didn't know he wanted to be an MMA fighter. Just my ADD kicked out on that one. But I never would have learned that about him if he wasn't on someone else's podcast that I knew. And so, it's... Huh?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, he was on our podcast, but he didn't bring up being a former MMA fighter.
No, because we didn't ask him.
Right.
Or weren't talking about that. It's like I was flipping through, and I saw a podcast of two ex-prisoners, and they talked about how they had to sit to pee. But anyway, we'll move on.
We have different algorithms on YouTube, obviously.
That wasn't YouTube. So,
yeah. No, I'll keep my mouth quiet on that one.
You would appreciate that being in the prison industry.
Yeah, I was going to say the amount of contraband phones that they found was always disturbing. So, but anywho. Back to how to stand out in a crowd. So it's not just consistency of you posting, right? We've kind of hit that one. That's a major necessity, but it's not the only necessity. The more you're out there, it's definitely a big step because it's the people, like, for example, what's your podcast rule? What was the one you found out? How many podcasts give up after
Oh, you mean the 10-23 rule of
Yeah.
podcasting? Yeah, most people quit before the 10th episode, and then
Yeah.
again after before the 23rd.
Yeah. And so it's the same with that, but with posting, people will go, I'm going to post, and they'll post for like 2 weeks and like, well, I didn't get a million followers. It's not about that. It's about consistency. A lot of the people who get up and talk, you see where they are now, but not how long have they been posting. There's people who have, 200 posts and have 2 million viewers. They just, several things pop. And you have people who have 2,000 views who have 2,000 followers. I'm sorry, I said that backwards. 2,000 posts and 2,000 followers, but they're
But
consistent. And one day something will pop.
again, though, the question
Mhm.
is, what are you doing it for?
Right.
Why are you? Because are you trying to be an influencer where you get paid, or are you trying to build your business? Which is it?
Right.
Those are two different things to work on.
Yes.
If you're trying to build your business, you really only need to focus, just like we had Robbie on talking about that, he makes $3,000 off of one of his videos a month
Yeah.
that he posted a long time ago. And it's not for everybody. It's for one, that one person. So that's the question is, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to go viral? Well, you shouldn't.
Right.
I mean, unless you're trying to do a count and then before you know it, you're going to be gone anyway, because there's no substance to what you're doing.
Right. I had lunch with a girl on Friday who
Congratulations. I'm glad you're getting out.
thank you. If you let me finish, jackass. She's growing her business and she's stuck in her head at the same place everyone is. So this isn't slamming her at all. She's afraid to post because she's like, well, I need to be consistent. It's got to be this message. And it's got to be, and it's like, okay, I applaud where you're going, but you're thinking you know what your audience wants. You need to throw bait out and see what does your audience bite on. And then that's how you adjust. So get shit out there first, then start to, refine your content based on what's getting you the best responses. And that's something that a lot of people don't do, myself included early on, is you never go back and look at the data to say like, well, what hit? And then go, but well, why did that video get more views than this video? Was it something you said that was polarizing? Was it something that you heard? Some some people will purposely missay something on a podcast or a post because that gets the haters out there. So go back and try and reverse engineer. There is no magic formula, because if they knew it, people wouldn't be guessing, right? Everyone would consistently do it. Even the people that we've talked about before that are paid to help people go viral, not every video goes viral, but they have an idea of what some of the things that work. But they'll go out and record 2 or 3 hours worth of content. They'll post the video. And if it doesn't get a good one, they repost the same video, but with a different title or hook.
Or a
And
thumbnail.
or thumbnail. So it's trying to learn not just what will go viral, but what will bring you more of your audience, because high-end numbers, even if you're standing out, unless they're buying, it doesn't matter. It's a vanity metric. So having a high count, like this is the big misconception. Yes, there are people who buy followers because it's the chicken and the egg thing of, if you don't have a lot of followers, when somebody first looks at you, oh, you don't have a lot of followers, you're not worth following. But then if you buy followers, the problem is it's like anything else. You have to keep doing it. And the way to tell, and we talked about this on a previous podcast, is they'll get 30,000 viewers and they lose 20,000 viewers, and it just keeps going like a wave. So it's just one of those things of, you have to decide, how do you want to get started? What's your method? You and I've talked numerous times about nonstop DMs from people going, I can help you get X many followers. So,
well, I've had a ton of them going, you need to do this, 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 and I can do it for you. Well, how much is it going to cost me? $200 a month. What do you need from me? Access to your page.
yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, well, let me get, because this is so-and-so. I'm like, okay, let me contact that person and see if it's a real person and see if you actually did anything for them.
Yes.
And that's why that's the biggest is finding the right people to help you, that actually are the right people to help you.
Yes. Well, you and I've talked about this before. Dude, if you're hitting me up, or dudette, with a Gmail, Hotmail, AOL, Yahoo, I don't think you take your business seriously. Not to say that we all didn't start off somewhere, because even the people now, like, look at Ryan Majin, right? When he got started, it was after when TikTok was just getting started, and I just did a story about this, so it's not giving away his story. Reposted his story. He went to Grant Cardone and some of the big people and said, I will get you 100,000 followers in 90 days. If I don't, I will keep posting for free until I do. So he had to make it a win for these larger name people to do it. But that's why he stands out, because he had that unique guarantee. And he's allowed to say their names like Grant Cardone. And what does that do? That helps him stand out, because are you going to go with someone who sends you from a Gmail or somebody who works with Uncle G? It's just one of those things of what's
Different
the
pricing,
necessary
though.
evil. What's that?
A little different pricing between those two.
True. But when Ryan got started, it was very
but
low.
he's not started anymore.
Exactly. Well,
You can't
it's
say
like
when he got started, because you can't get them back in those prices.
Oh,
That's
you
like saying,
definitely
when
can.
is a good time to buy a home? 10 years ago or today?
Yeah, that is 100% true. But yeah, so it's just been an interesting week of things to do to stand out, and taking it even offline. You've talked about things you've done with Rotary, right? What are the things you do besides just say, "Hey, come be at my Rotary"? Look, what are some of the examples of things you've done to stand out?
In Rotary or in general?
In both, but I was thinking
Well,
like you do the pizza, the slice, and
Oh
stuff
yeah.
like that.
So, well, that's just, so the big thing was to see how many things outside of our normal meeting we could do to get people engaged more. And so I do a monthly slice with the president. Then we also have a Rotary after dark, as they call it. So I put music next to that one when I had showed that on the screen.
Very white.
Sexual healing, sexual healing. So, and the girl gets all embarrassed. Well, it's because she hates to public speak in the first place. So that's the whole purpose of doing it, to get her used to
Yeah,
it. And
I get.
so, but the biggest thing that we did this year to stand out was we did a fire walk for veterans.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a pretty unique thing to do. We said we're going to do it, and we did it, and we did well. And my goal was to help one vet, and we helped way more than that. And that was the most important thing. But be careful, because people steal your stuff.
Oh, 100%.
Like, they'll put their picture in front of it and talk about how they were part of it, and they were part of it, but they didn't sponsor. They were not the one who ran it and did everything. And you have to be careful. So get stuff in writing if you're going to do anything with people, and say what they can and can't do. I expected people to do it, but not before we did it.
Right. That's a live and learn on that type of stuff. You're right. So now you know what to change for when you do it next year. The reason I brought up about asking about those things is there's something in Book Yourself Solid known as AHSTIPTO, which is always have something to invite people to. And that can be this podcast. This can be a friend of mine. She posts daily. It's 5 minutes of something that she posts every single day. So people know, hey, she's going to be on LinkedIn today. Let me go see what her message was. It could be, we've had Rhonda on before, who does Social Oak. And what is that? A social gathering once a month of local business owners that are there. And that's another way to stand out from the crowd, is not just look at where I go, but come be a part of what I do. And you look at that, seems to have grown significantly. I mean, it was always around before COVID, but after COVID, get-togethers that aren't large events. You and I have talked about this before. Large events seem to be kind of losing traction, where smaller gatherings are gaining traction.
Well, because you can't be right with the people when you have a bunch of people, right? You have too many people there. That was one thing that was nice when we split our event for 2 days. We didn't have 500 people each day, in which I don't, it would be nice to have that problem, but that wasn't the goal. It was to connect with each one of the veterans and people for going forward. And and you're right. The smaller events are better.
It is. And even I'm starting to see a big change so far in 2024. I would say 4 out of 5 events have gotten rid of influencers or people who are just names to get butts in seats, and they're replacing them with who's actually doing something in that industry. And the reason why is, I think, well, my personal belief is, when you bring in somebody who's way up here, it's hard for somebody sitting down here to go, well, how do I get there? But when you bring in somebody who's just a little bit ahead of you, that's a little more inspiring than somebody who's like, well, I couldn't decide today if I'm going to bring in the Lambo or the Ferrari, or it wasn't going to fly my private jet down. That is so far from where a lot of people are that it's a temporary high. But when somebody goes, hey, look, I was in your shoes a year ago and my Instagram got taken away and I had no followers, and now I'm back up to 200,000. That's inspiring, at least to me.
Mm-hmm. Correct. And I'll give another example. When I used to go to these mortgage events, they'd have somebody up on stage talking about how they did so much volume. Well, they have a team of like 4 other loan officers underneath them. Okay, that's a branch. That's not how you did so well. Tell me how, as a loan officer, I could do same thing. So what you're telling me is go hire 4 more people underneath me, and that's how I could become you.
Yes.
That's not what I want to know.
Right.
So, where like if you listen, like Todd Duncan, he's the guru in our industry. He posted, there was a video that came across today that he posted 3 years ago about and one of the things he said in it is you're not going to be able to control the market, but you'll be able to control how you are in that market.
Yes.
So, you can't control the market you're in, but you can control how you are in that market.
It's kind of the same thing. You can't control how people treat you, but you can control how you feel about it. You can take it to a more generic level. To a degree.
I just cry in the corner.
Well, I know, but I won't tell anybody that you do it while hugging your teddy bear.
It's a unicorn.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
I'm in California.
Yeah.
Yeah. We give, booze to homeless people so they can sleep on beds at night in the hotels.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that in San Francisco?
No.
Yeah. They spend $5 million a year to have homeless people come and nurses give them shots of alcohol and then they go upstairs and sleep it off.
No, I had not heard that.
San Francisco. Yeah.
Wow.
It came out because of the waste. They can't, $24 billion our governor spent on homeless to get rid of it. And it's gotten worse. Where'd the money go? Well, It goes in people's pockets. That's where the money goes.
Yeah.
Because they only spent 15 grand on alcohol for the whole year, because they're not buying, Grey Goose.
I was going to say it's not high end.
No
Blanton's.
Tito's. Ugh. Give me that Grey Goose, will you please?
Hey, look, if it comes in a plastic bottle, you get what's coming, and that's going to be a hangover.
That's right. You're going to get drunk and go upstairs and sleep it off.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. But anyway, let's move on. That's not part of our show.
I was a bartender in college, and literally the well tequila was called Montezuma and came in a plastic bottle. I'm like, who taught you guys advertising? Like, this is not a good deal. Hey, let me get Montezumas. Hey, 2 Montezumas right over here. Yeah, no, not a good name for tequila.
No, not really.
Yeah. So,
right.
You and I have also talked just on one of the things, kind of put a bow on this for the day, is what are ways you can stand out? Don't dress like everyone else. Like, yes, okay, for the podcast, it's always a black V-neck, but I'm a vest when I'm speaking on stage or out where I know I'm gonna take pictures with people. Larry has the red hat. People have different ways of standing out. So what's something that you can be known for? I've got a friend who she always wears pink. Pink is her brand color. Pink is her thing. I've got somebody who always wears purple. Janine always has a scarf. What's something that people will recognize you from across the room if you're going to be at events?
Well, if I'm at, most of the time it's jeans and a black t-shirt. My wife said I should get some colors, so I got some gray ones.
There you go. But people know you because of your size, right? You're
and the hat. And the hat.
Yeah,
I wear a black hat, and usually it's this one or it's my big hangry media hat.
Exactly.
So they look the same except for the logos. Same black.
But people still know who you are when you walk in. So
sometimes people do, sometimes people don't. But I think people know me a lot more from all the videos I do. Right. And I don't mean like I'm talking the lives that we do, because we also do a morning live Monday through Friday at 8:30 with my co-host from the radio show, which we've been doing, and people watch the heck out of that, which I was surprised. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not, but again, it all looks at, you can't tell by like up there how many people are watching us right now. It doesn't matter because there could be watching us on Instagram or someplace else, and we don't know unless we have that up. But and if they don't click on it, you don't know with the count, but you can go into the other part and then know how many eyes are on it, and that's what you want to look at.
Yeah,
we do certain things. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. Sorry.
But the morning show we do a certain way for a few people that someone asked me the other day. I said I do my videos for one person.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Oh, it was the guy we were supposed to have on here on the 30th that we have to move.
I got
and
you.
he knows our people that we know, Cosmo, and I go, you focus your video for that one person. That's all you need to focus on, your perfect client. That's who you need to talk to every video, everything you're trying to do to that person. If it goes viral, great, but that's not where you're going to make your money. It's that one person who picks it up, or a few people pick it up and start buying the stuff from you.
Yeah. So. Viral is free media exposure, but that doesn't necessarily translate into anything else. It's great if it happens. It's like, growing up as a kid, it was always, well, you might get your 15 minutes of fame. That's what going viral is. It's your 15 minutes of fame. It's what you do after you got that 15 minutes is what matters. Look at artists who have one hit song and that's it. And then they disappear off, right? Like, you always remember that one song. but they can't really go on tour with just one song.
No, but they could do an opening act.
Yes. So,
all right,
anywho.
is that it? We'll be back on Thursday.
Let's put a bow on it for today. We'll be back on Thursday with our Joker. Talk about how they stand out on different platforms on social media.
All right, make it a great day. Thanks for being here. We're here every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Central. You can figure out the Eastern off of that. All right, and we'll talk to you on Thursday. Thanks, Brian.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.